Good morning. Today we're doing the second half of lesson 81, problems 16 through 30. We're going to be doing the odd numbers here on the board. So go ahead and make sure you're on page 397 and let's go ahead and jump right in. Our first problem is 6n equals 0.12, 0.12. Okay, so we see we've got two numbers here that we're dealing with. 6n is a multiplication problem, okay? So in order to find the missing number, we need to divide. So I want to get rid of this 6 on this side. So in order to do that, I'm going to divide both sides, okay? Sides based on the equal sign. Both sides, I'm going to divide them by 6, okay? Because this is the number I'm trying to get rid of, okay? So I go here. So 6 goes into 6 one time evenly. So we go ahead and cancel those out. Now we have n left on this side of the equal sign. And now I'm going to go ahead and divide 0.12 by 6. And I've set it up here. So 6 doesn't go into 0, but it does go into 12. Well, it doesn't go into 1, but it goes into 12. So now I've got 0 point, okay, our decimals lined up, 0, 2. And so I go ahead and work out my problem. 2 times 6 is 12. I subtract that. I'm not left with any remainder. So my final answer is n equals 0.2. So if I were to multiply 6 times 0.2, my answer would be 0.12. 1 second. Okay, again, just making sure I was still recording. All right, our next problem, problem number 19. Wow. Problem number 19. Which digit in 6.345 is the same, has the same value as I'm sorry. I read that wrong. Which digit in 6.1347 has the same place value as the 8 in 128.9, okay? So what I did here, so you could see it real easily, I lined up my decimal points, and now all the digits are in their correct place value. So the 6 has the ones place value, 3 has the tenths, 4 has the hundredths, 5 the thousandths, and the 7 the 10,000ths, okay? And same thing here. The 8 is in the ones place, the 2 is in the tens place, the 1 is in the hundredths place, and we're left with the 9 in the tenths place here. So now it's really easy to see that the number 6 has the same place value as the number 8 in 128.9, okay? So the correct answer should be 6. All right, on to the next one. Problem 21. We have 5n equals 10 squared, or 10 to the second power. I don't think anyone says that. It's just 10 squared. So same thing we did on problem number 17. We're going to divide both sides by 5. We're trying to get rid of the 5 on this side. So I went ahead and divided a 5n over 5. Okay, so these cancel out. Okay, 1 over 1. So now we have n left here. And my 10 squared represents 10 times 10. So I went ahead and did that. So 10 times 10 over 5. 5 goes into 10 2 times evenly. I multiply those. 2 times 10 is 20. So n equals 20. So if we were to multiply 5 times 20, it would equal 10 squared. All right. Now let's move on to problem number 23. We have a parallelogram. We're being asked to find the perimeter of this parallelogram. Now, if we were looking for the area, we would look at these two numbers, the base and the height, okay, represented by the dotted line. But because we're looking at for the perimeter, we have to focus on the sides. So this is when this comes into play. So I've got my two equal sides here, 25 and 25, both millimeters. And then if this side is 22, then I know that this side is 22. Okay, so I go ahead and add all the sides together. 25 plus 25 is 50. 22 plus 22 is 44. 44 plus 50 is 94 meters. Notice that we didn't square it. Why? Because all the units are the same. We're not multiplying the units together. We're simply adding all the same units. So your final answer should be 94 millimeters. All right, number 25. Pretty simple one. Some triangles are quadrilaterals. True or false? You guys are brilliant. You know this is false because quadrilaterals have 4 sides given in, it's a giveaway with the quad, which means 4. And triangles, 3, only have 3 sides, okay? I went ahead and did this graph. I'm sorry if you hear me sniffling and stuff like that. I've been taking a lot of medicine because I've got like a bunch of allergies. I think it's like the pollen flying around. But I've taken Dayquil and Claritin, and I don't think I should have taken those at the same time. Oh, and I had Coke, so I'm like, my heart's like pumping. It's like crazy. Anyway, TMI. I went ahead and drew a graph for you so we could plot out the points. I'm gonna go ahead and grab my book. Okay, so this is problem number 26. You usually do the even numbers on your own, but I'm gonna do this problem with you just because some of you still don't have graph paper. If you don't, please let me know. I'll try to get some to you. But I went ahead and drew a little graph here, and I want to graph the points with you. That way you make sure you have the correct shape graph for problem 26. Okay, a quadrilateral has the vertices with the coordinates of, and we're given our first one, -1, -2, -1. So this is my 0, 0x, 0y, represented here. Because the first number, -2, that's the x, it's on the x-axis, so I'm gonna go towards the left, towards the negative x 2 times, so 1, 2. Okay, and then my y is also a negative number, so I'm gonna go down. So I plot my point there. So this point on this corner is -2, -1. That might be a little small for you to see, but if you just listen, you can hear. Then my next point is gonna be 1, -1. So I'm gonna go +1, so going towards the +1, and then -1 on the y-axis. So I plot my next point right there. So this is 1, -1. All right. My next point is +3, +3. So I go from here and I count 3. 1, 2, 3, and I count 3. 1, 2, 3. I went up because it's a positive number, so we're going towards the positive y-axis. And then we have -3, 3. So the opposite way, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. So I go ahead and plot my point here. And now I'm gonna connect these vertices, okay? And you have to answer what figure is this type of quadrilateral. I'm gonna leave that up to you. You can look back at lesson 74 to figure out what shape that is. I'll give you all the help you're getting for that one. All right, number 27 is a 3-part problem. The first part we need to solve is 3 quarts plus 2 pints, okay? The problem tells us to solve it in quarts. We could either change the quarts to pints, but we've been asked to change the pints to quarts. We learned in lesson 80, I believe, was it? Yeah, lesson 80, we learned that 2 pints equals 1 quart. So 3 quarts plus 1 quart equals 4 quarts. So 4 quarts. So letter A would be 4 quarts. Next, our problem, we have 49 meters squared over 7 meters, okay? So I set up my digits, 49 over 7, and I'll divide those in a minute. And then I set up my units, m times n. Remember, that's what the m squared stands for. So I take m times n. So 7 goes into 49 7 times evenly, and these units cancel out, which leaves us with the meter. So now we have 7 meters, and that's all. That's our final answer for letter B, 7 meters. Next, we have 400 miles over 80 hours, okay? So I set my digits aside. I can cross these out to help me simplify. So 8 goes into 40, 5 times evenly. Oh, I'm sorry, I don't need to do that. Actually, 80 goes into 450 times evenly. So go ahead and do that. And then we see that there's 2 different units of measurement. We've got miles and hours. And because we have 2 different units and we can't convert them, miles into hours or hours into miles, they either have to remain as a division problem, so miles over hour, or represented MPH, miles per hour, okay? Either one of these would be correct. So make sure you have that written down. And then last but not least, number 29, 3 of the dozen eggs were cracked. What % of the eggs were cracked? So I set up my problem like this. We've got 3 over 12. We need to change the fraction 3 over 12 into a percentage. Before we can do that, we need to reduce the fraction. So I've reduced the fraction 3 over 12. 3 goes into both of these evenly, 3 goes into 3 one time evenly, and 3 goes into 12 4 times evenly. So now I have 1/4. Now I can set up my problem like we did, where we leave the numerator blank and we just have the denominator of 100. So I have to see 4 times what equals 100. In this case, it's 25. So 4 times 25 equals 100. Whatever I do to the denominator, I have to do to the numerator. So 1 times 25 equals 25. So it would equal 3/12 equals 25%. 25% of the eggs were cracked. All right, guys. Sorry, I'm out of breath. This is all the medicine. I apologize. That's it for today. Go ahead and work on your math problems. If you have any questions, leave a comment on the video or shoot me a text or give me a call. All right, guys. Thanks.